Choosing the duo of Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 came about naturally as I'm a fan of 80s and 90s rock, and this album cover was one of the ones that always stood out to me. The two-tone colour palette contrasted very well and gave the cover a vintage Carl Block look that I enjoy. So I decided to try new iterations featuring some more art from the famous School of Athens that the current cover uses. The School of Athens is an artwork from 1511 by the Italian Renaissance artist Raphael. Marcus Sciabbi was the artist that redesigned the frame from the School of Athens into what we now know as Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 album covers. In my first iteration, Leonardo da Vinci and Giuliano da Segnolo are featured front and square on the design, seemingly engaged in conversation. The second iteration consists of a section of the bottom row of the painting depicting a group of followers gathered around an orb. I played around with the gradient mapping and saturation until I was able to get it to where I was happy with it. The colouring and two-tone effect helps me keep a depth whilst creating an abstract visual. The last iteration featured the colour scheme and text from Use Your Illusion 2, a light blue and a hazy purple. This scene depicts Raphael himself tucked in a corner, writing into his notes. Choosing the image that I was going to use was based upon the balance of light and dark in each photo, along with the geometrical balance of its contents regarding the square frame. By testing out some different effects, I was able to find a couple that had a good ratio of colours to create balance between them. Specifically, the sculpture art featured at the bottom of the School of Athens painting. Using Photoshop, I was able to create a two-tone gradient that allowed for depth to be perceived easier, where the shadows were darkened and the highlights were increased further. The redesigned logo makes a comparison here to the original artwork. The reimage design no longer features a grey figure, which ties nicely with the reinvigorated colour scheme. The overall theme of the image is easier to perceive, while the content and persons are partially abstracted and harder to identify individually. After establishing the initial design, I was able to apply it to a poster design that was promoted in the 91 and 92 Use Your Illusions World Tour. It was going to be a double-sided poster with the red-yellow design on one side and the blue-purple design on the other. Because the background image complexity had been reduced, it allowed me to confidently overlay text promoting the tour without creating balancing issues. And by adding in the dates for the upcoming venues, sponsors of the event, numbers and addresses, it was done. The redesign of the cover and poster was inspired by the unique two-tone art style used previously, where I was able to apply Raphael's work further and abstract the images to my liking. Using different colour schemes from the two different years, we were able to make a poster unique to the time by producing it as a double-sided poster, where you could hang it up on the album you liked more. Having another prompt for interaction is a must when you're trying to entice people to read what you're advertising and buy into what you're selling.